Today's episode is brought to you by the Vegas Beer Guys and the Sounds in Cinema podcast.
Everything sequel contains explicit language. And why the fudge not, you melon farmer?
Hey, little buddies, come gather round. This here's the very best eating in town. A hungry heifer's place to be.
Hello and welcome to the Everything Sequel podcast. This is a Critters edition. Today, we're talking Critters 2, the main course. The one with the subtitle. My name is Michael Shantz of the How Dare You Awards. Joining me, the big ball of ghoulies himself, Tom Stewart of Lonesome Whistle Productions. Say hi to everybody, Tom.
Well, on the important chart, I put that just above pineapple quiche and just below a pimple on the ass.
Barry Corbin.
Trying to get that Barry Corbin cadence is no mean feat.
He has one of my
So
all-time
distinctive.
favorite lines from a movie.
Really?
Yeah. Never forgot the line from War Games. God damn it, I'd piss on a spark plug if I thought it'd do any good.
He's gotta be writing those lines, right? There's too many of them in different movies with different screenwriters that are all the same for it to be a coincidence. I also feels like I don't know if you ever watched Northern Exposure, but he plays Maurice,
A little, but not a lot.
the ex-astronaut who owns the
Diner or?
No, he owns the whole town.
Oh, okay.
He I'm trying to remember what the town is called, but which is not going to happen. So let's just move on. But again, like, you know, that cadence and those kinds of lines
Unique unto him.
always seem to be coming out of his mouth. Absolutely. And I think he was the first name that I clocked in the titles, where I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Definitely excited to see Barry Corbin. Is he in the? Oh, should I ask? Is he in the original?
I was gonna tell you. Yeah, I don't know if you want to know.
Played by a different actor, or just? Yeah. Oh.
You want to leave it as a surprise?
Yeah, let's leave it as a surprise.
Okay. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I think I can imagine that if they were going to recast it with Barry Corbin, it has to be someone, you know, semi-good. Otherwise, they wouldn't have bothered casting someone like Barry Corbin to replace him. Well, you know, who knows what happens facially to you when you live in a trailer. Sometimes, you know, I've seen David Lynch movies. People go into the trailers, they come out as a completely different person.
This is nuts. Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking Lost Highway going on in there.
Well, here we go. It's our favorite in the series.
Yes. My favorite movie for a while that we've done. What did we recently do?
I don't know.
No, probably Expendables.
It's all a blur.
Expendables is pretty good.
I remember Expendables.
I enjoyed this a lot.
This time last year we were doing Mission Impossible.
Well, at this point in Mission Impossible, it was pretty ropey.
Yes, it was
American John Woo and J.J. Abrams. Was
Mission
not
Impossible 2. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, this was I really responded to this. Maybe it just caught me at the right moment, but I was surprised and impressed throughout.
I really responded to 2.5 of these movies. So.
Yeah, and it did keep, you know, it kept going in a way I thought it wouldn't, but nonetheless, I think this is still the high point of these sequels.
Yeah, it was closer for me, but as we talk about it, maybe the gap will lengthen.
Well, there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on in these movies, and yet it doesn't feel overloaded to me, which was another real accomplishment.
No, yeah, also, like,
when you break
around 90 minutes.
Yeah, well, exactly. When you break down what this, you know, how much story they cram in and how much action, it's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're talking Critters 2, the main course. It's It's a 1988 movie with 36% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay. Horror. Gotta tell myself it's horror.
Yeah.
So what? 86%? That's about right. I go that. Yeah, I got there.
I thought we added 30%.
Okay. Well, I'm adding 50%.
50?
I'm just randomly adding 50% because I think that movie is that good. No, if you add 30%, 66, that still seems low.
But I did have this sense as I was watching them that this movie especially was kind of, it's of a time and an era where it could be easily dismissed and shouldn't have been.
I mean, that's retroactively. If we knew then what cinema was now, we would be celebrating these kinds of movies. I think that's fair to say. But I know. I mean, even in context, like even as a late '80s creature franchise sequel, I think this is a really good showing.
I do too.
Like, you take away all the qualifiers, and I think it's still a good movie that works in its own right.
Cannot disagree.
Hmm.
It's directed, we already kind of talked about all of this in the ranking episode, but it's directed by Mick Garris. Mm-hmm. And we already mentioned that he's directed Psycho 4, The Beginning, and Sleepwalkers, along with television like The Stand and The Shining. I also have a movie, I think, called Riding the Bullet that I don't know at all.
Is that Stephen King as well?
I think you're thinking of Silver Bullet.
I am thinking of Silver Bullet. Let's move on.
Another vastly underrated film, I would say, which I only watched for the first time like a few years ago.
Me too, yeah. Well, I just, Stephen King likes to reuse a lot of the same words in his titles, so I thought, there could conceivably be another bullet in one of his
another bullet
titles.
Related.
And so I'm trying to remember, did he direct Thinner? No, he didn't. That was one of the Hollands, either Tom Holland or Tom Hollander, whichever one.
If he wrote Thinner, I would have written it down.
Yeah, well, I know. No, not wrote. I mean directed.
Directed.
But I bet he was up for it. I bet he was up for that job. Anyway,
I just watched that for the first time in October, last October.
Yeah, still never seen it.
It's a weird movie.
But anyway, show me the money.
Hey, look at him go. This movie had a budget of $4.5 million. Does that mean you still have one locked? Like you still up one? Opening weekend.
Well, you wouldn't let me. You wouldn't accept that as a down payment. So, I mean, I'm gonna miss one regardless. So when that happens, I'll go, well, I said it.
I said it before.
Episodes.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I said it
Opening weekend of $1.8 million. In the USA and the world, $3.8 million.
Oh.
So people did not go see Critters 2.
So this really shows that just in time for Gremlins 2, people were losing interest in Gremlinsploitation.
Yeah.
It's so amazing. Gremlins 2, that was the worst time to make that movie you could possibly think of. Because even Critters movies aren't popular now. That's amazing. That's amazing. But sad, but really sad. I think that if people had been willing to roll the dice a little bit, they would have enjoyed it.
I would hope so.
Yeah. Again, it might just be look, I certainly in this period, certainly into the 90s, dismissed a lot of movies because I assumed cinema was going to get better as time went on. And when I realized somewhere in the mid-90s that was absolutely not the case and that the opposite was happening, I began to reevaluate all these movies that I maligned and realized that some of them were mini I wouldn't put that in this I wouldn't put this in that category, but it has the essence of.
I don't know. You've been gushing quite a bit.
Well, it's I'm a sucker for intelligent writing, and I see a lot of it here.
I have a note here that like we open up with the New Line logo, and we go straight to credits, and I like that the credits are eaten.
The credits are eaten and also very wobbly, at least in my version that I watched on Tubi. That might be a Tubi problem.
No, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, all the titles seem a little wobbly.
Yeah.
In all these movies.
It makes sense given how unpopular and discarded these movies were, because what that shows is a sort of lack of preservation more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no one's putting the money in to fix that retroactively. And that makes sense in context. Yeah, feel like we've seen... have we done a lot of New Line cinema recently? Because I feel like we talked a lot about New Line.
Really?
I can't remember the last time we... Was it S. Darko? Was that a New Line?
Oh, I don't remember.
But one of those sequels, one of those what decade? 2009 sequels was definitely a New Line cinema. Messengers, I think was it Messengers?
No, you're not going to get me to remember.
Okay, forget it. But anyway, this is what I call the respectable New Line cinema logo, with that reassuring music.
Yeah.
And it's, when you start to watch a movie called Critters 2: The Main Course, it's not what you expect to see. And then you get those Hitchcockian strings that come right in over the titles, over the wobbly titles. And then you get kind of a, cutesy creature effect of the sounds of a critter eating.
Yeah.
Or what I will learn is a critter. At this point, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck a critter is.
Who knows?
It's different from a ghoulie or a gremlin.
It's bald and green, comes out of a toilet, right?
But we're sort of close to, I want to say, animated title sequence kind of style with that a little bit. It's not full Pink Panther, but it's aiming towards that look a little bit. And Nicholas Pike's, and there's a lot of kind of confusion about how classy a movie this is going to be, because that orchestral score is really genuinely quite good. This movie has a legitimate orchestral score that, again, you're hearing that music over the title, which says Critters 2: The Main Course, and you're sort of like, is this a much better movie than I am expecting it to be? And it was, but maybe not in the way that the score was setting me up to think it was.
Yes. Like, there was, for me, and it's right here at the beginning, there was only one, like, truly wobbly thing for me where, like, we kind of open up in these, like, people in hazmat kind of suits.
Oh,
but
my
like
God,
space
this
space
whole
hazmat
is
suits.
amazing.
And they're walking around a cave, with lots of whatever, creature or bugs or something's going on there.
Yeah.
But there's this one moment where, like, one of the hazmat suit spacey people is, like, walking, I think, kind of in the cave down, and all of a sudden a producer credit comes up.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally thought, wait, what's happening? Are we a movie within a movie right now?
Oh, yeah. I had
because it's just like this lone credit.
Yeah.
That's the only credit I remember seeing before what is essentially a cold open, right?
They did. There was a similar moment. I had a similar thought about a different moment in this sequence, because the titles. But there's a title over an electronic door, and then the door rises and wipes the title away.
Mm.
And it looks like scrolling. Looks like the titles are scrolling. And I would normally be like, well, that's just a coincidence. But there's so much cinematic invention in this sequence. It made me think that maybe it is working. Maybe the film is working on that level, because just the cinematography is on point in this. In these opening shots, the camera point of view, the movement of the camera, the way it's lit, the swamp effect they've got going.
Yeah, that's what it is.
There's,
Swampy.
There's tinting, but it's not too much in that way that, you know, movies from the 2000s look horrible. It's kind of tinting to good effect. And you're straight in and you're like, this is a discernible aesthetic. I can see lots of production values. The spider monster puppet that you see is really high quality. But I mean, again, and this is what these kind of production values that make me think they've made a specific choice to make the critters look the way they have. That doesn't have anything to do with the resources that's available to them. If they could make the critters look like this puppet if they wanted to, but they don't want to. They want it to be something else. And so this is a really important setup that shows me that everything they do from this point onwards is their choice rather than their limits.
Yeah.
And and all the makeup and prosthetics are top notch in this opening sequence, because then you go straight from there to the man with the knot face.
Yeah, the yellow knot face,
which is a terrific mask.
Love it.
It's kind of like it's moving on the inside, like the face is kind of throbbing on the inside, so it doesn't just look like a kind of mummy face.
Well, what's also interesting to me, I mean, you don't know this yet, but you have all the information you need, like that these aliens can morph, right? They can see a picture or whatever and morph into the face.
They tell you what you need to know. You're not left out in the cold.
Exactly. But what's interesting to me is that Terrence Mann, who plays Ugg, like he starts off as a knot face too in the first film, and he becomes Terrence Mann, Ugg. And I thought it was interesting because my note was, so he's just keeping that face forever, like
yeah.
And there's sort of a
they got him to come back, so
yeah, exactly.
That's how it goes.
I just thought it was funny. He was in his spaceship, and he's like, in my mind, I was like, oh, he's going to keep that face forever. But then they even have the smarts enough to know to kind of explain that mythology within the aliens themselves. Yeah. It's great.
I could follow it completely, having not seen the first film, even though I was aware that they were picking up from the storyline of the first film.
Mm-hmm.
So it works on both levels. And then, you know, you get that they go kind of wacky with the falling, and the space shots look a little less accomplished than presumably they're capable of doing to give it that kind of B-movie charm. So I do like that they...
Well, and also that's consistent.
They show you what they can
movies.
do, and then they show you what they're interested in doing as well within that, which is sometimes falling short of that really glossy look.
Mm-hmm.
And turning it into comedy.
Yeah, right.
And also, like, when you go to let's have like a collection area for all the creatures that they've bountied. Is that it? Is that the right way of putting it? And it's like a Jim Henson Creature Workshop. It's just all these fucking puppets, and I'm just like, that's them kind of they're like showcasing the embarrassment of riches that they have in terms of puppetry design.
Yeah, it feels like on a $4.5 million budget that they spent $2.5 million on all of this stuff.
Right. Again, it's showing me that your imagination is limitless, but so when you get to the choices they make with the critters, which are in the style of, you know, like 50s B movies like The Blob, and, you know, and again the Tribbles, which are kind of low tech versions of that. It's an aesthetic choice, because you could go high end creature puppetry if you want to, because they're doing that in this sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's very, you know, obviously starting this way, somewhat unexpected. There's the bounty hunter thing is something that I associate with Star Wars. When their boss is like a big-headed alien who appears on a hologram.
Yeah.
And that reminds me of Star Trek, like 60s Star Trek, A lot of
I
big-headed
thought that would
aliens
remind you
and
of the prequels.
Why? Why? Because the hologram's in proportion.
That's
To
true.
the screen.
That's true.
It's not a big horror. The head is big, but it's proportional to the image. So they're playing in that sandbox of Star Trek, Star Wars, nerd stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And nerd stuff, this is like again, I think this is where this movie's dated really well. This feels like a movie made by nerds that wants you to know it's made by nerds.
Mm.
And that was early for that, I think.
I don't know. Was it?
Well,
I
think nerdism was unpopular up until it wasn't, and now it's everything.
Yeah, right.
And this is before it was everything, I think.
Yeah. Definitely before that.
And it's in there's no Star Wars coming out, right? This is second year of Star Trek TNG, when it could get cancelled at any time.
Mm-hmm.
Before, they turned Captain Picard into a Borg and everyone suddenly loved it. And it also coincidentally got very good after that. So it's and the unpopularity of the movie speaks to that as well. Like this movie embraces nerd culture, I think, in a way that a lot of movies at the time weren't, and wasn't popular in a mainstream way.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I didn't give it much thought, like how conscious that might have been.
Yeah, I think this is, people would be more interested in planes or that kind, I don't know, like people with machine guns, on boats. Or so I'm trying to think of what else was going on in '88, but there wasn't a lot of science fiction.
No,
even horror wasn't doing great at this time, like in the '80s.
But like a few years prior, you have Top Gun, so maybe
that's
you
what
have
I'm thinking of.
more of that kind of thing on the brain.
Movies about Michael J. Fox going to the city.
Oh, that's
Maybe a little late for that.
That's a good movie, though.
Yeah, of course. I'm not dissing those movies. What I'm saying is, if that represents what people want to see, then they're not going to enjoy going to a movie and the first thing you see is a big-headed alien hologram and a knot face.
I think there's something definitely to that, where there was some fatigue.
Yeah, even in the horror community, right? Because the big franchises, the Freddys, the Jasons, and the Michaels were starting to taper off as well.
Yeah. But there are two things that happened back to back for me where my note is, man, this is making good sequel sense to me, because the alien comes on and says, "Hey, listen, we got news from Earth. You left Kreitz there. You got to go back and do your job." And I'm like, okay, this all makes sense.
Yeah.
We're going to get Ugg back, and what's his name? Charlie is going to be coming back with him.
The Burt Gummer of this particular series.
Yeah, and the unbeknownst star of the series.
Very well. I think unbeknownst until they walk back his death, and I think that's when it became beknownst.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just would have let him die, right?
But the other thing for me was this bus ride with the bus driver and Bradley's on the bus.
Yeah.
And the way they unfurl the exposition.
I really liked how they did this.
Of the previous movie, I thought was like... I've not seen a sequel do it that fluidly in a long time.
It helps. It also helps that they're kind of... Within this scene, there's these kind of familiar archetypes from both B movies and fairy tales. So the whole idea of like a nephew going to visit his auntie. Is it his auntie that he's going to see, or is it his grandma?
I think it's grandma.
It's grandma. So there's like a Little Red Riding Hood quality to that. The bus driver is straight out of mid-century B movies.
Yeah.
I mean, no, he's not a cab driver, but I wouldn't have been surprised if he suddenly said, "Where you going, Mac?" or something like something like that. So it helps that you just kind of like that you don't think too much about the characters because they fit so neatly into these boxes that you already recognize that they can just have this conversation and get it over with, and by the time you arrive, you know exactly what's going on in the movie,
what's happening. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. But even this kind of like that fade to when it fades to modern day Earth, you're like, wow, this is a really versatile movie. It's going to exist on these two different planes.
Mm-hmm.
Of the space people and the Earth people, like that again. Most sequels at this level wouldn't attempt that.
Yeah,
that duality and never really feels like a duality. It feels totally seamless and fluid.
Well, it's like in a movie like this, when you can be reminded that film is a visual medium. Where the bus driver is even talking about a family that says they got attacked by aliens and like says his name, and then Bradley just covers the name tag that's on his luggage.
The double brown edit joke, yeah. And this was also one of the first signs, I suppose, pretty early on in the movie, that there's going to be a kind of wit and a flair with the filmmaking. It reminded me of the hot dog cut in Friday Part 2. When is it Precious, the dog who? Yeah. He's not. Is it Precious or?
I think maybe we're conflating Silence of the Lambs
Muffin.
with Muffin. Yeah.
Muffin the dog, and Muffin goes missing, and the next thing you see is someone frying hot dogs.
Yeah.
And it was a similar kind of thing. They cut on the name. They match the name.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just there's a kind of slickness there that is always good to see. And I'm so jaded now that my note, having not seen the original, my note was, I assume that the driver's telling us the plot of the original, unless this is like every other sequel and they're just beginning a brand new timeline and trying to sell it to us as some sort of continuation. But it seems like Critters actually puts its money where its mouth is in terms of continuity.
They do.
For the first time ever, at least that we've seen. And they're specific about how long has elapsed since the events of the first movie, and it's about the same time as between the first and the second movie.
This is a very different from Friday the 13th timeline.
It's the total opposite. So is Critters 86?
I think that's right.
So yeah, they're 2 years in world, 2 years release. In real world.
Yeah.
So that's it. And so I had a lot of revelations. So Scott Grimes, he is in the original, right?
Yes.
Took me a while to realize it was Scott Grimes.
Yeah, not at this time, or maybe even at that time. Like, he either reminded me or I had seen him in something else at the time, but he has become an actor that I recognize.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Orville, ER, that's what I know him from.
I want to say maybe Breaking Bad at some point.
No, you're thinking of Bill Burr.
No.
Another bearded ginge.
Or something related. Fuck, what is it? I don't remember.
He's done a lot. It's not he's not in the Breaking Bad verse, but he's done a lot of American television for sure.
Yeah.
I remember.
Oh, this surprised me because I remember I looked him up. He's done like almost 400 episodes of American Dad.
Is he the kid?
I don't know.
The alien? The fish?
Oh yeah, he's in Oppenheimer and Mystery Alaska. Why do I remember that movie?
He joined ER after it.
That's right. I'm not thinking of Breaking Bad. I'm thinking of Justified.
Oh yeah, he's in Justified. He's totally in Justified. So yeah, he's been around, but it took me a while to recognize him. I think again because I'm used to seeing him with a beard and his red hair is not as prominent. Yeah. In these early scenes, and I later became aware in I think there's like a greatest kills montage in the next movie where you see him, and it's clearly him in the original. Unless, well, I mean, they could have fudged that, I suppose. They could have
it's
put
him.
someone else in, but it's him. So it's just remarkable, the level of continuity at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And we check in with these kind of
Local yokels.
They are. They're slack-jawed yokels for sure, and they're sort of junk hunters.
Yeah, I guess I didn't understand this because they find the eggs, and then the young asshole. I could have sworn he said, "Well, I'll go to that historical society and sell them there. Will you help me carry them at least?" And he's like, "All right, come on." But then it seems like the old man is in charge of whatever historical society he's selling them at, and he's selling them for beer.
Mm-hmm.
But so the guy said he didn't want them at first, but now he's letting him take them to his historical society. I didn't quite understand that.
You can't tell me that serial killer's lair is a historical society.
That's what I also was confused by.
That looks like Friday the 13th reboot Jason's house.
Yeah. With the fucking death tunnel underneath.
That as soon as... So you said a word that I didn't know. Krites? Is that what the eggs are called?
Yeah. No, that's what the creatures are called.
Oh. So critters is like a mistranslation?
Yeah, it's like... I don't know. I don't know
we
why.
Call creatures critters here?
Yeah.
Is that interesting? That's interesting.
But the alien race is called Krites. And
Krites.
Whenever... they're like, hey, you got to go get back out these Krites. It's always Krites.
That's interesting, because the gremlins don't have it like a
Gremlin's just a gremlin.
Yeah. The ghoulies...
Well, I guess Mogwai.
I don't want to go back there, but I'm pretty sure... does anyone even call them ghoulies?
I think we talked about the fact that the word ghoulies is never even said. Right?
I think so. Ghoulies is just the way that these are marketed. Whereas I love the fact that it's like a conflation of the human word for... well, the human English word for small creatures, which is critters. And there's an actual race called Krites.
Mm-hmm. So
even that is working on a level that the other Gremlins or Gremlinsploitation films don't have about these creatures. I just love that the line from the old guy where he says, "These things ain't worth dick," and I'm like, it's like speaking to the fact that these are counterfeit Gremlins, and the lack of respectability around these kinds of movies, and how that's doubly so because it's also ripping off the Gremlins.
Yeah,
I really like that. What was very reminiscent of Gremlins was the crane shot of the small town square. And also, we've just subbed out Easter for Christmas.
Yeah, right.
It's like, we got an idyllic small town, idyllic old-timey small town with a town square during a festive holiday period. So this is like Gremlins beyond just having a Gremlins-like creature in your movies. This is actually trying to ape the kind of, the iconography of that movie beyond the creature.
Yeah, but it's also, I mean, it's like they're filming in a real place.
Well, I'm even like, is this where they film Gremlins at times? It was like, it's so...
Oh, this seems less... It's funny because if I go back and watch Gremlins today, like the town square part, that kind of just looks like backlot Universal Studios to me.
Yes, it does.
But this
Bedford Falls.
The place is actually called Grover's Bend, and I think it's in Kansas.
Is that true though? Is that are you getting that from the end of the movie? Because I was suspicious about how true that was, especially when it was followed by absolutely no critters were harmed in the making of the movie. I did wonder whether that was a Fargo-like con.
No, I don't think so. I think it's true.
Okay. Well, they definitely do a great job, like, building these kooky, eccentric 1940s style small town characters, but updating them for the 1980s, which is also what Gremlins did. And then, because when we go into the newspaper office, it was like full on His Girl Friday in there.
Yeah.
And also the return of Lynn Shay.
Yeah.
From the Nightmare movies, of course, and Robert Shay's wife as well.
Yes.
This is the Critters is a real family business.
Well, it's not just that, but
three brothers made the Critters.
Yes.
You've got Cynthia Garris,
Mick
Garris, Robert Shay's producing at some level, and Lynn Shay's in the movie, and she's dressed like Rosalind Russell from His Girl Friday for some reason.
She also
because she's a newspaper. I guess because she's a newspaper reporter, it makes total sense. What am I saying?
Yeah, she's changed jobs. She's in the first movie.
Yes, I again, that Greatest Kills montage showed me that she was in the first movie. I mean, that's no surprise really because she's around. Because she's, it's a bit like what was it? Nova, Linda Harrison in Planet of the Apes, because she was dating Daryl Zanuck at the time.
Right.
And
same
Jr.
for I just blanked on her name. Jaws.
Lorraine Gary.
Gary, yeah. She was the wife, right?
And that explains why they all make it into the sequels.
But also in this newspaper is Sam Anderson. I think I've told this story before. I have acted with Sam Anderson on stage.
I did. Wow, tell me about that. I did not know that at all. He's also in ER.
Yeah, it was just a stage reading. And it was done at the Odyssey, directed by a friend of the show, Matt Aldrich. There's this moment where Sam Anderson, we're all sitting in chairs, and Sam Anderson turns to me and locks eyes. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I've waited my whole fucking life for this. And even though it's a stage reading, like, he and I are kind of going back and forth, and like the characters are really giving it to each other. Afterwards, Matt was like, you and Sam, you really had a moment there. And I was like, yeah, that was incredible.
That's great.
He goes, if any character gets cut from this show, it would be yours, though. And I go, I know. And then it's like, we never did anything with it again. We just had this one kind of, I think it was even just a rehearsal for a stage reading. But man, it was so cool.
That is very cool. Oh, how great. Did you know he was going to turn up?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Is he in the original too?
No.
Oh, that's okay. I'm starting to worry. I hate the sequels made it seem like this was like this just was like a straight line continuity wise, and I'm starting to think that maybe there was a little bit of fudging going on.
No, this is like that's the only kind of added thing of important note.
Well, I guess that the daughter, and this is to be fair.
But to me, that's good writing too, because like the kids knew each other from school. I like that moment.
I was a little confusing in this scene because I was like, is she her mother? And I don't think she is, right? I think she's just works.
Lynn Shay, you mean?
Yes.
No, yeah, I don't think.
Not a mother, but they kind of there's a shot of them all as a kind of like a family, and I'm like, that's kind of telling me that they're, if not really related, that they're essentially related. But that doesn't really go anywhere.
No, yeah.
Either. But yeah, I agree. I think she's a great character, and having that interplay between her and again, it's very Gremlins, right? To have the two youngest members of the cast, male and female, be in charge of the kind of the creature, the fight against the creatures,
the battle. Yeah.
And the when you see grandma in the original. Sorry, this is getting very tedious. Grandma in the original. Oh, okay. She's a great character, and I like this kind of I like this idea of what distinguishes her from the grandma stereotype is that she's into healthy eating, which is very of the time, right? Late 80s. Everything she's mentioning, I remember as being like the health food of the time, like carob, Remember carob?
Yeah, right.
The fuck was that substance? It replaced chocolate in things.
Yeah.
But it's made of yeast. I don't know, something fucking wrong that shouldn't be.
Is that the
turned
thing
into
that makes
something.
our American chocolate taste like vomit?
No. If anything, American chocolate doesn't have enough carob in it. Carob is like.
Oh,
I think
carob's
it's like,
a good thing.
Carob's like, well, it's not, that's the thing about health food of this era. It was everything was sold to us as good food, and retrospectively, we know that stuff was killing us just as quickly and as badly as the bad stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was super processed, and I think it was the same with carob. But she's sort of like she's like fully vegetarian and health food conscious, and I thought that's a nice little twist to that characterization, because otherwise she's just this kind of homey grandma. Although I also like how rough she is with these kids as well. I think that's great. That you kind of expect her to be like over because she runs a daycare. Seems
It's fuzzy.
it's fuzzy.
It must be a daycare, otherwise it's a
I think you do at
criminal
one
event.
point see the word day. Oh, she's kidnapped all the kids.
Yeah.
She either kidnapped all those kids, and I just like that she's kind of quite caustic with them as well. So they're kind of thinking both in and outside the box when it comes to characterization. Like they're using the archetypes, but they're using them in ways that are sort of interesting, making them interesting individuals as well. It reminded me a little bit of Roald Dahl, the way he does characterization, and particularly the kids as well. When you see the kids, they're like, it's not the idealized version of children. They're kind of violent. They're disgusting. They're like
they cause a murder later on.
Hammering crayons and eating paste kinds of kids.
Yeah.
So I do like this. I do like this tone that they're setting up with these characters.
Meanwhile, don't we meet Barry Corbin after that?
Yeah. It's we get and there's a little bit of, again, which I think is not the thing to do yet, is all the horror intertextuality in the movie. I mean, obviously, Gremlins is a given. That's the whole reason for making the fucking movie. But they mention Cujo.
Yeah.
In the junkyard when that Saint Bernard pops up. Is it Saint Bernard? I think it is. But anyway, they mention Cujo because he's a big dog and he's scary. And, there'll be more horror intertextuality as we go through. So, and I think, again, that's not a particularly fashionable thing to do yet. It will be in like 5-10 years, but not now.
Mm-hmm.
So, this movie is a kind of ahead of the nerd game.
Ahead of the curve.
Yeah, ahead of the nerd curve, or the nerve. Yeah. I'm going to call it the nerve from now on. And, something else that struck me, this is an Aftermath sequel.
Yeah.
People are as much responding to what happened previously with the critters as they are preparing for their return. And again, we only have a handful of examples of successful sequels that work in this fashion. I remember having this conversation about Rocky 2.
Rocky
they
2,
did that really well. I can't think of too many more. I mean, there's that one scene in Karate Kid 2, and then they fucking go to Japan and it's all over. So it's actually genuinely exploring what people might psychologically be going through in their reactions to what happened in the original movie.
I thought that was really interesting with Brad. Like, Brad
doesn't happen that often. Does not happen that often at all.
Like the length of time that Brad is willing to say the thing that happened to him didn't happen to him, so that people won't think he's crazy, I thought was kind of interesting in this movie.
Yeah, and it shows a thoughtfulness about, well, when these people's lives go forward, unless they're going to reveal the existence of aliens to everyone. Yeah. They're gonna have to find a way to walk it all back, and plausible deniability, and what would that look like? Mm-hmm. And they think that through. Which again is sort of like, normally this is a reset, right? Where it's sort of like, oh, turns out they didn't see anything, or they were unconscious when it was all happening, or so. There's some kind of walk back. But here they're sort of like, no, they know, but rather than have this conversation with everyone and appear crazy, we have to find a way to sort of cover it up and make it seem like it was, just a kid telling stories. It's really interesting niche writing. Shouldn't be.
Well, when the whole family moves away,
it should be what every sequel does.
Yeah,
but they never do.
When the whole family moves away from town and the sheriff is voted out of office, like, you have eliminated all the people that believe that this happened. And that's a smart way, sequel logic-wise, to, like, move this town forward a couple of years and let your audience know exactly where everyone sits.
Yeah, and so, and, it would have been, thinking all the way back to Jaws 2, it would have been nice if we'd have voted the fucking mayor out of town.
Would have made sense.
Because of how he handled the last shark. He should have been going to him in a fucking trailer.
Yeah.
In his just him
planning his comeback.
Naked, but in that suit with that jacket with the anchors.
Just the jacket.
But he's naked underneath, eating beans from a can.
Naked torso. All right, let's take a break.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we'll be right back after this.
I like to think I know something about beer, but nowadays even I get overwhelmed when confronted by the exhaustive selection of craft beers they have at bars, breweries, and even grocery stores. Back in the day you had one, maybe two craft beers to choose from, and if you were confused, you ordered a Guinness. But in beerstinations like San Diego, the craft beer options lately are in double, sometimes even triple digits. So what's a beer drinker to do? You need what I need, the Vegas Beer Guys. Your beer of choice should be a perfect blend of malt and hops. And so a live show about beer needs that same balance. And the Vegas Beer Guys matches beer expert Dan Aker with self-proclaimed beer novice Stephen J. Weiss. The results are eminently drinkable. They're on Facebook, they're on Instagram. They'll try new beers, they'll tell you about beer. Think of them as your beer Sherpas guiding you up a foamy-headed mountain to reach the peak of your pint. God, I need a beer.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Tom and I are here discussing Critters 2, the main course. Directed, well, by Mick Garris.
Well, it's like, well, question mark, exclamation mark. Yeah,
I was really surprised by the directing kind of across the board for these movies.
Yeah, it's good. It's good all around.
Where did we leave off? I think I have us, like, they're going to the heifer and Bradley gets beaten up by the dick.
Yeah, they just build this small town world up so well. And then it makes it even kind of like, it got to the point where I forgot that we began on a spaceship. So when they cut back to the spaceship, I'm like, oh yeah, there's a spaceship in this movie.
There's spaceship shit going on.
Yeah, I got lost in the world that they were building in Grover's Bend, that I forgot that there was a space element to the movie as well. And once we get back on the spaceship, again, I think this is the most thematically developed of all the movies, and maybe they talk about this in Critters. In the first Critters, but the discussion they have about stealing people's bodies and how you have to find the face that fits your right self. I'm like, kind of, it's this existential discussion they're having about identity. And what is identity.
That's the kind of re-mythologizing I was talking about, where none of that's really in the first movie, but they talk about that in this movie.
Okay. Wow. Well, that's even more impressive that they actually developed that idea rather than just retconning it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I was like, okay, I'm sure we've heard from these space bounty hunters before. Then we must have done. There's no way that
yes.
There's no way you can start the conversation here. Then we get the first but not last iteration of the Hungry Heifer jingle.
Mm-hmm.
Which reminds me of, Rocking Ricky from Gremlins? Doesn't he have a fake commercial jingle in that too? That big billboard of him as Indiana Jones. Rocking Ricky Rialto.
Yeah.
Gremlins. And they, there's some ragging on Van Halen, which I'm all for. In the scenes, it's sort of, it's interesting. What is this movie's attitude towards small towns? Mostly critical, I would say, of what life is like in these towns.
Yeah.
But also, eventually, sort of warming up to the community.
This really does seem like
the
a
possibility
town...
for community, which isn't necessarily there until you build it.
Yeah, it does seem like a town with a population of less than 100.
Yeah, I mean, you really get a sense of this woman's lack of choice when it comes to men. If she remains.
Yeah, so much so, like she's like happier than a pig in shit to see Bradley.
Yeah,
but but he's significantly younger than her.
Younger?
Yeah, like I had this conscious thought that Scott Grimes must have been so fucking thrilled to have these moments of trying to kiss this actor because, like, she's an older woman and, like, charming, beautiful. Like, he's got to be just like, oh, this is just the best acting job ever.
And it didn't fuck him up like Jake Lloyd.
Yeah.
Jake Lloyd's like, what, I get to perv on Natalie Portman?
I remember I looked it up because I was...
Amazing.
I remember because I looked it up because she is like 6 years older than him.
Oh, wow. So I said 10 years is a joke, but that's not really a joke.
No.
He always looks younger than he is, like even as an older
That's
man.
true. Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure he was playing like a medical student in ER, probably like age 30 or something. Like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's always kind of looked. He's always kind of just looked like a young nerd.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say
older.
When he was filming this, he was probably 16. But he looks, I mean, this is only 2 years later, and he looks 4 or 5 years older than he looked in the original, Those 2 years matter when you're around that age.
And that fight that you mentioned before, really well filmed. Like the tall and small angles.
Remind me of Back to the Future.
Yeah, it's like, Mick Garris is not phoning in any aspect of the direction, even though, this kind of a movie is there's potential for phoned inness.
Sure.
Because it's a copy of a copy.
Yeah, but even
copy of a copy of a copy.
Yeah, I mean, I to me, that whole scene seemed to take inspiration from Back to the Future. It's sort of in the town center or near it. You have the restaurant, like the diner, and you have this fight. You just don't have the big chase with the cars and the skateboard, right?
Right.
He just gets laid out, and then the bully takes off, and we're done. Like, we don't have enough money to continue on from there, I don't think. But I thought it was interesting that he could kind of, meaning Garris, the director, that he could kind of draw from Back to the Future, but not ever make you think he's just doing Back to the Future.
And this is before there was a Back to the Future sequel as well, right?
Correct.
Which is
because that's 89.
Yeah. Well, another reference kind of is the dog food. in the next scene, which is kind of like calculated for pure gross out character comedy. Because first
eats the spoon.
It comes out, it looks like poop, it slops in the bowl, and then he
Yeah.
licks the spoon, which is,
Yeah.
is what a great touch to lick the spoon. I this guy's great. This guy's got all the best lines and moments, because when Grandma is looking for Easter eggs, he sort of fudges the fact they don't look like Easter eggs by saying they're from Europe, which I think is great. It's funny too, like I assume they, I don't know in which order this went, but they were like, okay, Gremlins did Christmas, let's do Easter. That's one way it could have gone. Or it could have been like, these eggs could be mistaken for Easter eggs.
For Easter eggs, yeah.
So it doesn't really matter which you like, maybe it all came together at once, Seinfeld writing style.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, it's a great concept to hang the film on.
Well, and also, like, they're smart enough, because there's no reason this guy shouldn't sell her all the eggs.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they got to keep it, they want half and half so that he can be kind of the first kill, and then we can move on.
Right. And well, this is sort of, I'm getting into the part of the movie where, because the critters are still eggs at this point. I think we haven't seen any critters yet.
No, but those heaters all over the place. Heaters and Sun are working their magic.
Yeah. Like they do with actual real eggs, chicken eggs. And we get what is just a lovely public domain version of the Gremlins theme as they start to break out of those eggs.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, this movie knows exactly where it stands in relation to that movie. And yeah, like the moment where Critter pops up behind a dead dog, I was like, it's equal parts funny and scary. Like, it's sort of, it's chilling because there's this dead animal there, this dead pet, but funny because
like
this little fucking hedgehog pops up behind it. They have little funny they look like evil trebles, and they're have funny faces. Yeah, and it's kind of like the critter egg itself before it hatches. It kind of looks like a toy dinosaur egg. Maybe it even is a toy dinosaur egg, but like the way that they sell those eggs within the movie makes me think that they're kind of making a comment on merchandising and the sort of the interplay of cutesiness and horror in the Gremlins sort of creature that in some senses they're commodities, and they're also there are ways in which they're kid friendly, and then there are other ways in which they're really not.
Yeah, I mean, like, the thing that struck me was that the idea of commerce and sort of our holiday traditions,
mm-hmm.
and like how
yeah
how our connection to those things can be so cemented that we don't take stock. Like, we're picking up an egg that like just looks like a reptilian kind of something dangerous might be inside of it egg.
Yeah,
and
later
we're just
on
fucking painting it.
Painted, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, skip. Oh no, it's pretty close. We're getting to that part certainly, but the priest's attitude towards the priest makes a couple of references that made me think that both he and the congregation do not take the idea of Easter very seriously in this small town. Oh, my next note is I was happy to see what I called a chest of imbas, where Brad kind of opens up a chest which is full of photos, newspaper clippings, props from the original movie. And I thought it's so much easier for us to comment on, to sort of identify the imbasses when it's all in the same box. It just simplifies everything. We don't have to look for a photo here or a clipping there. Just put it all in the same box and take it out at the same time. And
by all means.
Yeah. And our job is made a lot easier. There's an amazing shot when the critters start to hatch. It's like starts off as an egg's eye view.
Yes.
A view from inside the egg, and then it goes into creature Steadicam. POV. I think that says a lot about just how on point Mick Garris's direction is. Like, he's taking these conventions of how you represent creature point of view in from movies like Aliens and and even like slashers like Halloween.
Sure.
But kind of thinking laterally about it and combining different ideas as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just great, really, really interesting camera work here. And this is again, it's economical because you when you do that, it's very effective, but you don't have to show the creature.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't think.
But there's but it's also one thing I love about this series is they're never skimping on the critters themselves.
Until the final one, I think, maybe a little. But the puppets generally amazing
are so good, and so he has that, right? He knows he has that and could show it if he wants to, but he does the Jaws thing of like not showing us too much too soon.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, Jaws is another good example of what he's pulling from. Yeah, and he's just combining all the different ways, and rather than overusing one particular device. Oh, and again, like the interplay of comedy and horror. The fact that the little girl, the fact the little girl's able to like squash one.
Oh yeah.
So we have all this build up, and she just squashes one, and I think it's sort of like, it's a good reminder. It's like these things are threatening, but also we're gonna have fun with them too, and you might accidentally kill one, and they're like bugs, right? They can be dangerous, but you can also squash them.
Yeah,
if you want.
Well, I think, but for me, the moment I knew I was going to really love this movie is when I see the reverend, the priest, like start giving his speech, and there's this huge bay window behind him.
Yes. It's like the setup for a joke, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of like, yeah.
And so I knew what was going to happen, and I think there's something sublime about it being the pissed off anchor from Die Hard, which also came out the same year.
That's right.
And he's the sheriff.
Yes.
So
he's so pissed off too.
Oh my god! So he's getting bit on the dick by fucking critters, and he just launches through that window. And honestly, because like they have this kind of establishing shot where they show a critter zip into the suit.
Uh-huh.
And because he's being bit on the dick, it's like funny, but it's also horrific. Like it really does get me that because 2 or 3 get in there, and when I realize he's trapped in there with them, I'm getting the heebie-jeebies, and then he just like full on rabbit head on his fucking body, jumping through that bay window.
The tone in these scenes it reminds me of 2 separate kinds of reference. One is David Lynch, like the hyper reality of of small town life from Blue Velvet and Twin Peaks, and there's also Friday Part 6, because there's a threat again. There's like a threat to children specifically. And the movie wants to kind of tease you with that, while at the same time never fully, I mean, I just watched a horror movie where like a baby gets killed, and it's tough to watch.
Yeah. And
like, you want there to be a threat to these children, but you also kind of want to know that they're going to be okay. You want to keep the 2 things in your mind, and this and Friday Part 6 does particularly well is it raises the possibility that children could get hurt, but never actually hurts the children.
Yeah.
And I really sort of like that dimension to it. But the priest said, this amazing character, he says, "Better hurry, ladies, the resurrection's in 45 minutes."
Yeah.
Which I think is just like sort of like half as a joke. And then he makes reference to the fact that the truth that we all know is that the majority of people only turn up to church for Christmas and Easter, and he makes a kind of sly joke about that as well. So there's a little bit of satire going on here about religion and about how it's a part of small town life, but there's also a hypocrisy around it. People don't understand what they're doing, and it's
Yeah, right.
it's tradition and convention. People aren't actually invested in it.
Sure.
At least they're invested in what they think it is, which is turning up to a place.
Yeah, everybody is just Homer Simpson.
Yes, yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So all of that's going on, and I just find it really compelling and stimulating that you would sort of take that turn. And again, it sort of paints this picture of small town life, which is a little more dysfunctional than even in Gremlins, where I think there are a lot of bad actors in that community, but the community itself is pretty strong.
Mm-hmm.
But this feels more like this community has to be really worked on to turn up for each other.
Yes.
At this point, they are so fragmented that you can't. There's no united front against the critters. You have to really work hard to make that happen. Yeah, critter in the bunny suit is great. It's the cheaper option. Because you can't see the critter. But as you say, it's funny. I wrote that it's a homage to something, but I can't. I don't know exactly what that might be. Maybe I'm thinking of Gremlins, the Santa, but we never see Santa, I suppose. But it's like
I
the
think we
idea
see
that
Santa running across the street covered in gremlins.
maybe that's it. Yeah. So I thought that was a really good, really effective choice, and again, amp up the comedy. The comedy horror fusion is known as a comma. You amp up both simultaneously, and it's really effective. And then he comes flying through the window, right? That's the kind of button to the joke. Wonderful. Said having seen that giant bay window, yeah.
So funny.
So funny. And then it sort of turns into a sex comedy for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
We see the Playboy.
Yeah.
We explained. It's like we're suddenly in Earth Girls Are Easy. We're explaining to aliens what Playboy is. Which is great. Cause
Charlie says, this is literature. Great articles.
Well, that's the thing. I was like, this is almost like the remit of Playboy itself. Satire plus tits.
Yeah.
Sex plus commentary. That's what Playboy does too.
But before the aliens land, we get Barry Corbin because they try to convince him that critters are back, and that they needed his help. And in true Barry Corbin fashion, these people voted me out.
These people voted me out. I had plastic surgery to change my face.
Yeah.
And I'm not going back. I hope it's Ernest Borgnine, but I suspect it's not. Then obviously we go into the transformation of Notface into a sexy lady. Which is kind of like, again, like Earth Girls Are Easy, weird science, having it both ways with horror and comedy. Is it the sheriff whose corpse we see when it's really fucking mangled? Or somebody who's been attacked by the critters, I think possibly the sheriff, and it looks really real for Southern.
Is the old time drunk?
Someone is like covered in blood and wounds, and you kind of see what the kind of damage that a critter can do, and you're suddenly like, oh, it's maybe not all fun and games anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I don't remember who it is, but
I think maybe it's a shot of the sheriff after he's gone through the window.
Well, I have a note here that says we find Sal at the drunks. But I can't remember who Sal is.
Is Sal the old guy?
Oh, no, Sal's Lin Che. That's just short for Sally. That's what it is. So they find her, right? Brad and Megan?
Yeah. This is, we kind of get because we get the gory corpse followed by some very sort of Looney Tunes critter business. So it's kind of like there's one point where they're like roadkill. One of them gets inflated with tire air. So it's kind of, you can totally have it both ways. Like, it would be really brutal and really funny. And then we start to get these reunions of characters where it genuinely feels like the second part of a story.
Yeah.
And I'm watching it going, I hope to God all of these people are in the original movie, or this is completely redundant. They're like a really nice moment. And is it Charlie who says he's going to go where no man has gone before? And it's just like, I think it's a given now that people would get that most people would get that reference, but it's still a nerd reference.
Well, I don't know.
I think this movie's speaking to the nerds. I think
no, that took on. Everybody watched that, not just nerds. When
not
it
the
happened.
original series,
huh?
Not the original series.
Oh, you don't think so?
No.
All right.
I mean, I think you're definitely getting more mainstream with the movies.
Yeah.
But I still think that there's a section of the American public who will be like, Star Trek fans are weirdos and we're normal.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think that distinction exists anymore. I think it's the same with Star Wars. People are happy to call themselves Star Wars fans, and to a lesser extent, but mostly, call themselves Star Trek fans. But although less so as time goes on, I'm sure, with both.
Yeah.
But they don't have, not because they are ashamed to enjoy those things, just because those things are bad now.
Now, Brad and Megan get themselves to Grandma's house to save Grandma.
It's like Hansel and Gretel, almost. It's like a fucking fairy tale.
You know what I notice about this movie, too? I think it happens at least 3 times. There's 3 times, I think, Bradley is in a moment where he's like, this is it. I have to give up. They're going to get me. And then he gets saved. And I kind of like that there's that much jeopardy for the character. Like, usually they can always think of one last thing.
Right.
Like the garbage chute in Critters 4 kind of idea,
with its own little Star Wars Dianoga in there.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, that is true. That's better approach.
There's an ending. There's an end here. I'm screwed. And then, Ugg shows up and splinters another door or something and blows away some critters, that kind of thing.
This whole sequence with the critters at the Hungry Heifer buffet is amazing. I mean, it's them showing off that when they want to, they can have as many critters on screen as they want, doing as many different things as they want to do. They're just selective about when they want to do it, and they're saving it for these kinds of moments. What's especially, I mean, what I think is especially great, the level in both the level of detail and how funny it is that at least one of them's got salad tongs in its little claws.
Yeah.
Like it's actually eating the buffet the way the buffet is meant to be eaten.
Yeah. I noticed that, but I also noticed in this scene and at the end when they have a hamburger meat trap, that I wondered how conscious it was of them to show us like how disgusting we are.
Yes, totally.
When we eat this kind of food.
Totally, that's the scene. It's I think there's something you can see. I think there's a sign that says like "Eat like a family" or something.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, there's so many parallels between our eating habits and the eating habits of the critters. Like they're one and everything that's monstrous about them is what we do on a daily basis too. With our eating, with the as Americans with eating habits.
Right.
So I think that's part of the commentary, and the kind of processed frozen food part of it too.
Mm-hmm.
And then later when we get into the factory, I think there's also something about how small towns are basically like these. It's just that corporations use them as land for their factories.
Mm-hmm.
And they're small towns are the people who consume their food, and it's also that they're also taking the real estate that they use to make the food cheaply as well. So I think there's a lot going on in this idea. I think it's a very specifically chosen idea to make it about this restaurant, and that this restaurant is part of a bigger chain that is obviously like, you know, part of a corporation, because there's too many sort of specific allusions to the bigger economic picture of these kinds of fast food restaurants for it to be just kind of I mean, it could just be, oh, that looks gross, but it's way more than that, I think.
Yeah.
It does look gross. You have the advantage of that.
Yeah, right.
And a question, so I gotta say, very few critters questions. I got one here because there's a couple of, I wouldn't say contradictory moments in this and I think maybe Critters 4, but do the critters wear wigs?
What do you mean?
Because at one point, the when the critters are being blown away, its hair is shot off, and it looks like one of the critters is wearing like a hairpiece.
Well, I think it's just like it wasn't wearing a hairpiece. It just got balded by the laser ray.
But there are some later in the later movies. There are some critters that are balding, and then there are some that have hair.
Well, in 4, one gets exactly what you just described, which is one gets a shot that takes off the top of its hair.
Mm.
The IMDb note said that for some reason they wanted, because they only had essentially 2 main critters for almost that whole movie, they wanted to distinguish them.
Yeah. Well, then he looks at himself in the mirror and apparently says bitchin', but that's not what I necessarily heard him say, but I couldn't tell what he said, but then I looked it up and it's like he says bitching. I was like, really? Is that true? Or has AI told you that?
That's what I remember hearing.
Okay. I didn't hear bitching, but that's good.
No, bitchin'.
And bitchin', yeah.
Yeah.
They're also very clear about, you know, their level of, again, in this complete contrast from Ghoulies, for their verbal skills.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have the general laughing and the noise, you know, the sort of Tasmanian devil sounds coming out of them.
Mm-hmm.
But they can also speak, they can communicate, they have their own language, and we subtitle that. And it's just very clear and consistent from movie
and you
to
appreciate
movie.
that.
I do. I mean, it doesn't seem too hard either.
Yeah.
Just keep it the same way. I don't know if we've got there yet, but also, oh no, we're close to it. But well, next up, I've got the sort of the bowling skittle sound effect. It's like a rolling critter that hits a bunch of people and it knocks them over like skittles, and we hear there's like a
I kind of remember that
effect. And then the critter biting on the electric wire as well, which to me was Gremlins 2 before Gremlins 2. So I was like, did Joe Dante see this? And, you know, that was the gremlin he submitted to the sequel Doctor.
I have literally, I have several notes. I mean, honestly, I guess I'm thinking more of Critters 3. Because there are moments where it felt like it could have been the Key and Peele sketch of like, okay, this critter, and we got this critter.
Yeah. Critter made of electricity.
Yeah. So there's an edge of that here, critter. But I think I remember writing it. It seemed more of a direct line in the next movie.
Yeah, then I mean, none of the differences between them are cosmetic, which is how it should be. Mm-hmm. Some of them have hair, some of them don't have hair. Some of them are more verbal than others, but they're all verbal.
Yeah.
Some of them are. Well, I mean, it's in the final movie where we kind of learn that they're different. They can be different ages and related too.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think of them as related. Well, yeah. Do we talk about them as a family in this movie? Not necessarily.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But they always have that. They introduce us here to the weaponized attack, the hedgehog prickles that they can fire off. And I love that stays consistent throughout the movies as well. They never, like... that never turns into, like, I don't know, they can suddenly fly. Or, you know, you can just imagine, like, as this went through the sequels, that would become something. Or, you know, they do what they did in Ghoulies 4, where they replace it with a couple of little people wearing masks. And they never do. Like, even their weaponized attack, they don't feel the need to, you know, pimp up into something else.
Yeah.
So I really love that. Although I have questions about what those prickles do to people.
So that was what I was just going to say, was because I think the effect of them changes over the movies.
Yeah. In the next movie, it kind of turns people into stoners, which is a bit makes me think that there's like some kind of hallucinogen in there.
Yeah.
But it's a, you know, basically they're a nail gun.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to everything else.
Where the hell are we? Night Falls. Are we at Night Falls?
Yeah, I think we're at night. Yeah. Should we take a break and come back and?
Yeah, we can take a break. My next note, I think, is Lee trying to become Freddy.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm about that.
All right. Well, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. Right after this.
And we'll discuss how that doesn't happen.
Completely.
Wash it all down with a mousse shake. You pat your tummy and smack your lips. Suck for hours on your fingertips. At the Hungry Heifer, we won't give you one steer.
If you like podcasts like I do, boy, do I have a treat for you. You need to
Stay on target
and check out the Sounds and Cinema podcast. Listen as your host, sound designer and music creator Tony Parham, and co-host, musical performer and sound lover Derek Hansen, D-Rock if you're nasty, and I am, discuss all things sound related to film, television, stage, and theatrical productions. They discuss environmental sounds, bioacoustics, dialogue, the nature of communication through sound, but as an added bonus, they drink beer and try to
stay on target.
Find them wherever you get your podcasts and listen to the pure mania of a man who can charitably be described as Doug, the dog from Up, and another man with a soothing and sultry voice trying to get that man to
stay on target.
That's the Sounds and Cinema podcast. Tune in and listen to the sounds they are creating just for you. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, finishing up with Critters 2, the main course. The 1988 film directed by Mick Garris. It's funny, like for so much continuity between sequels, like there's always a different director.
Yeah.
Every single time. Even when they were shooting films simultaneously, they chose two different directors to do that.
I suppose that's more economical, really. Then you can.
Yeah.
And it makes sense because Charlie's in
space.
In a lot of one of the movies and hardly in the other.
Yeah, true.
So I suppose if it was the same director, like we
got to get Charlie back to Earth and the set on Critters 3.
Yeah, it's kind of like a an Alan Ayckbourn play where we sort of like going on two stages simultaneously.
Yeah.
Well, my next note is when they're looking for help, they come out on the roof and they're like, "Hey, everything's going to shit. Come and help us." And not only does no one help them in this close-knit small town, but there's actually a Jeep that goes by and doesn't stop.
Oh, I don't remember that.
It just kind of keeps driving along. I'm so like, small towns might say that they're a community, but when it comes to the follow-through, perhaps not.
Yeah, I mean, there was a moment because, like, Bradley and Megan go to the church where everybody seems to have gathered. And then the next thing you know, they're back at the Heifer.
Yeah.
But there was no, like,
Yeah.
why don't you and I go check up with Ugg or anything like that. It was just like they were just there.
Mm-hmm.
So I was imagining a scene that wasn't there, in which the church folks were like, either this is your fault, get out of here, or what's going on? And they're like, don't worry, we're going to take care of this. I've got a friend. We'll be right back. Like that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. And then we get the Freddy, what I describe as near Freddy Krueger transformation.
Yeah.
So they've got they've got a standee of Freddy Krueger. Obviously they've got the rights because it's New Line.
Yes.
And again, so like with the Cujo reference, they're able to, they're playing with other 80s horror imagery.
Yeah.
But I don't think you should have this scene if you can't get Robert Englund to sort of appear for a moment. She should turn into Freddy Krueger and then into Nerdlinger.
Yeah, even if Freddy, or rather Robert Englund, doesn't want to do it, like cut off one of those stand-ins as though he's like becoming the paper version of it.
Yeah.
And then
Can you just cut to an outtake from one of the
Nightmare
movies that they definitely have?
It's a boy.
So it's a weird half scene, but I like the idea that that she, like, the not face becomes the sexy girl and then becomes the nerd, because that's like both ends of the nerd paradigm. That she's both the hot girl and the awkward nerds that love hot girls.
Yeah. And
she gets to be he or she. Well, I don't know if I don't know what gender the not face is when it's not one of these two. Okay, not getting into that.
Right.
Hornet's nest. but it's it kind of speaks to that sort of nerd fantasy kind of idea that you get in Weird Science and Earth Girls Are Easy and that kind of thing. The latest in camcorder and hologramic projection effects for when the nut face resets. I like what they did there.
Wait, say it again?
When you actually get the not face, doesn't it reset to being a not face again?
Yeah, Ugg does.
Ugg does, that's right.
Yeah, because he screams in pain because Lee gets eaten by the critters.
And they're using all the latest kind of camcorder coloring effects and everything you can do with projecting a hologram onto a face screen.
Yeah. Actually, I really like that moment too, where when Lee gets lured in by the critters to a specific part where he can be surrounded and eaten. It almost reminded me of Stripe jumping in the pool.
Yeah.
Kind of like the intelligence of the critters working.
Mm-hmm.
And that part where you go, oh no, we're fucked. They got Lee. It's not as big a moment as Stripe jumping in the pool, because Stripe jumping in the pool, first time I saw that as a kid, I was like, oh no!
Yeah.
Oh, they're fucked.
Literally the worst thing that could happen.
Yeah.
And again, the transformation brings up identity questions as well. Like, what face do we wear, and what does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you'll get the return of Corbin, or I guess the beginning of Corbin as the sheriff.
That's one of those moments. That's one of those Save Bradley moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says, "I'm back," which is apparently inaccurate. He's not back. He's arriving for the first time. But certainly they're continuing the character arc, right? He's kind of gone from, I don't know what happens in the first film, but it somewhere his life has plateaued in between the movies, and now he's back on top.
Yeah.
Great line when they say it looks like some kind of critter convention. And again, I think that's like nerd speak before nerd speak was popular. Like the awareness that these kinds of franchises generate a kind of convention culture too. and speaking to that. I think this is addressed to the nerds in the room before there was only nerds in the room.
Right.
Before it was a room full of nerds.
Before 6'2" blonde women were counted as
Calling
nerds.
themselves- Exactly, yeah. It was just one nerd in the corner, in the corner silently masturbating, and now that's everyone in the room.
Yeah.
I believe that's what they call what do they call it? A silent disco,
What?
but with masturbating.
Oh, yeah.
The church meeting really put me in mind of a few different things. High Noon. The Blazing Saddles version of High Noon.
Yeah.
And also that Twilight Zone episode, Monsters Are Due on Maple Street, where everyone tries to come up with a compelling argument as to why, what this alien invasion means, and it all involves like slighting someone else in the community and pointing out that they're in some way responsible and maybe even working with the monsters.
Yeah.
So it's got all of those kind of beats to it, which I really like.
My note was more about that. It's Sam Anderson's kid, I think, where I was like, this idiot child just got that guy murdered, like outside the church, by being a dumbass kid.
Yeah, and they're set up as dumbass kids earlier in the movie, and I guess that's the payoff of that. It's sort of like,
and then it's Bradley that saves her, but then it looks like it's all gonna, it's one of those moments where it's like, he's like, fuck, tried to save this girl and we're just gonna die, and then Marv saves him. Not Marv, Harv.
It's kind of like Milhouse in the future Simpsons, where Lisa's president.
Yeah.
And Milhouse is like the special advisors. Like, remember we said we were going to invest in our nation's children? Big mistake.
I think we have the Critters Ball, right?
The big ball?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that makes sense. That right? They can turn into a big ball.
Yeah, I love it.
I don't know if we see it again though. I guess maybe this is production values that the next
You will
few movies
eventually.
are capable of. We will eventually. Okay.
Yeah.
I see. But not in the next two movies.
No.
Especially if by Critters 4 you've only got 2. You can't really make a giant ball out of 2. Yeah, and I suppose there's a little bit of a Raiders reference there.
Yeah.
Maybe. And then this whole factory... I mean, first of all, there's a kind of a moving camera... What I describe as a moving camera mission prep montage. Which is sort of like a... Like, they're all preparing, they're all preparing their weapons... But instead of editing it all together, they kind of just pan across. Old Garrus kind of pans across and sees everyone preparing for the mission in turn. And I was like, that's nice. Like, normally this is done as a montage. You're doing it as a single tracking shot. I kind of like, again, combining these different approaches, thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
But, you have a box, which is mission prep montage, but I'm going to do that but differently.
Right.
1988. People, you should have gone and seen this. What else are you going to see? What else came out in 1988 that was this good?
Die Hard.
That's pretty good. What else is 1988?
I don't know. I'll have to take a look.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Ooh, maybe Midnight Run might be 1988.
I want to say that's 86. I guess you can search for movies in 1988. Maybe we'll do that at the end. Anyway, it's very well done.
There's like lots of good stuff. Like I thought there was some just assured comedy line readings here where like somebody calls him the no-face spaceman, and I think it's Corbin that says man-eating dust mops.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Good.
Yeah. And that's a whole monologue as well. That's kind of a...
Midnight Run, 1988.
Oh, excellent. Okay. All right, well, those are both good movies. So this would have certainly complemented those, if not outdone them. So now basically the whole concept of this sequence where they're getting all the food to sort of trap, because they know one thing you know about critters, because we understand what critters are and what they like, is that they're going to eat their way through any food that's there. They're going to eat the whole thing, and they're not going to stop until it's done, and we can use that to trap them, which is also very, like, actually in world very smart.
Yeah. And
they show you the frozen food, and they show you everything, and all the kind of burger patties and, like, all the disgusting things that go into our food, basically. Yeah. I do have to say though, when they go through those packets of cheese slices, it did make me a little bit horny.
I was just gonna say, like,
everything
all
but
of that
the cheese
is really
slices
gross, and then they open up the cheese, and I'm like, oh yeah, look at that cheese.
Yeah. I just I was like, that's a little bit sexy. I gotta, like, when it's splitting that apart and there's an equal amount of slices on either side. I was like, that's like, that's my idea of food porn.
I felt the exact same way.
Like Homer staying up all night to eat 64 slices of American cheese. Yeah, it's and they have the equivalent of the Gremlins walking shot as well. It's the critters emigrating en masse.
Yeah.
Which I think is fantastic. It's just so funny. It's full physical comedy. I love it. And this is the first subtitle we get?
Oh, I don't know. Is it?
In the movie? Because he says bitchin', but he says that in English.
Mm-hmm.
But the live meat?
Well, because we have a moment where the wind changes direction, so you get the Reverend kind of going, oh no, and so it's going away from the meatpacking plant, and all the people are following the whole town. Well, not the whole town, but most of the town is following them to the heifer factory. Mm-hmm. But now the wind is pointed towards them, so they head towards them, and then what looks like the head critter says,
look at the size of the leader.
Yeah, he's like, hamburger meat, no bones. That's all they needed, so they all head back.
I think that's the first
factory.
Subtitle in the movie. It's the first note I made of one.
Well, and also, the other thing, though, is that's Ugg in disguise. He crittered himself.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. So do we not get a genuine subtitle until the next movie?
Don't know. I'm not remembering the one about, or I don't remember the specific moment about bitchin'. Like it's clear that it's bitchin'.
He just says it. Because okay. I didn't hear what he said, and I had to look it up.
Oh.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I mean, so but that's again speaking of Spike, right? At some point in Gremlins, they're like, we're going to have to identify one of these Gremlins and then kind of follow him through the rest of the movie. And there's a really clunky line along the lines of, Spike is their leader. Oh, look at Spike, he's the leader. It's like, that's a weird fucking thing to say. Out of nowhere. And here you get a similar one where it's like, look at the size of their leader, so we're following them. Yeah. But the twist is it's part of a trap. So... Yes. If weirdly, this may be a moment where it outdoes Gremlins. Great as that movie is, it's done less clunkily than it is in Gremlins. They took what happened in Gremlins and they were like, we can do this better.
Yeah.
And then there's a whole stuff about, the different blood and ketchup and, it's all this kind of food and violence are very interconnected in this movie, thematically. And that's consistent throughout the movie too.
Oh, I almost forgot that, like, in that back and forth when they're like the critters are kind of heading towards the humans, going back towards the factory. Mm-hmm. When they head towards the humans, Charlie takes off. He looks like a coward. Right?
Yes, but he comes back with a ship and blows.
We thought kamikazed himself, but.
He does the Larry
Turns out
David
he's got 2 more movies to make.
The Larry David definition of kamikaze.
Yes, yeah.
Well, how could he be a kamikaze pilot if he's still alive? Maybe he got there as such. Actually, no, I don't think I will. Yeah, I mean, this is maybe my one note for my one. I had a technical note for the movie with the dubbing, and my only kind of artistic note for the movie would be, I think Charlie should have stayed dead.
Yeah.
Because it's so because they figure out how to bring the actor back into the movie anyway.
Yeah.
By having Ugg turn into him.
Yes.
And then they walk that back because he's like, "Hey, I'm still alive," and it's like, "Okay, well, I'll go back to my normal face."
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's a bit messy, and it doesn't need to be that messy.
Well, the thing I didn't get is that they lure them into this factory, close it up, and there's got to be 7,000 sticks of dynamite that they use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But apparently that just didn't work on the big ball of critters. But the one spaceship kamikazeing, that explosion worked fine. And I'm hard pressed to understand why one explosion works and one doesn't.
Yes, that's a good point. But it brings the town together.
Sure.
Nothing builds a utopia like resistance to an alien threat. It's a very American idea.
Yeah.
We're stronger when we have an enemy to fight from the outside. Yeah, and then I think, you know, as the movie ends, there's all the business with, is it just going to be Charlie's face from now on? No, it's actually going to be Charlie, and then Ugg gets his face back. And I wonder whether they discovered, they realized as they were making it, oh, we actually want Charlie to be our Burt Gummer from now on. I don't know. I don't understand why he needs to. Like, if they wanted to retcon it, they could do that in the next movie, I think.
Yeah.
Like, why did they have to make a point of him of showing that he was alive?
Well, but then you'd probably be saying, listen, we clearly saw he was dead. Now you're bringing him back. If you're going to do that, show us it in the first movie.
Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, like, my bar on this is so low that you could have got away with it.
Yeah.
You know, because we've accepted that Michael Myers and Dr. Loomis survive.
Yes, right.
We didn't put up a fight when that happened.
But no.
Even though we saw one of them melt.
Just the mask, not him.
Well, he was inside the mask.
Well, you don't know. It could have
It's
been
not
blown
like
off.
he took the mask off and the mask melted independently. He was inside
It could
the mask.
be blown off.
He was slowly escaping out of his clothes.
Like, I can't see through my two shot eyes. Let me take this off.
Yeah.
Maybe I could get a better view.
When the spaceship leaves the Earth at the end, I thought they were really trying to cash in on the Spielbergian feel-good vibe of alien ships flying away in movies.
End of
that's a
E.T.
Spielberg thing. End of E.T., end of Close Encounters.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the closing crane. We get a closing crane shot of the town, which I think they do in Gremlins as well. And they're rebuilding it.
Seems familiar, yeah.
They're sort of rebuilding it, and there's this kind of Western music, and I'm like, is this a frontier town? What's going on here?
I think it only lasts like I think they catch up on a couple of them like right here, almost for a rule of three of Bradley and Megan trying to kiss comedy.
Yes.
But they finally get their kiss.
And then an elephant blows water at them, and
yeah.
a little Asian kid goes, "Very funny,
Very
funny." And yeah, he gets back on the bus and leaves.
It's
So
just
there's a
like, I'm
whole
out of
sort
here.
Circularity to it. And,
I live somewhere else.
Well, I know what the bus driver's been doing. That he's been totally. Is he just been driving the bus back and forth ever since?
I guess.
Or is he in the town where it's all happening and just kind of like sleeping in a hotel room or something while this all happened?
Is that it?
That's it for me.
Barry Corbin leaves too, for some reason. He doesn't want to be sheriff again. He gives that
That's
job
right. He
to
gets
Charlie.
on the bus too.
Yeah.
It's interesting because there's no without knowing it, I knew that these characters weren't coming back. I felt like we'd wrapped up this stage of the story.
Yeah, right.
And I felt that in 3 as well. Like, I felt like, okay, we're done with these characters again.
Yes.
But in a way that wasn't like it was an afterthought, or they
all said no.
They built all this up and then they threw it away. It kind of feels more like it feels.
No,
like
it does
closure
just feel
both times.
each time. It just feels like the story goes to another place.
Yeah.
That requires new characters.
Yeah, which again is surprising for a sequel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the Scream series got rid of a character and then was like, oh, what were we doing? We got to bring that character back. Didn't help.
Well, if that's all you focus on and don't do any other work, it's not going to be a good movie. So, credit check, I suppose.
Yeah.
Unless you have anything else.
No.
Covered a lot of this. You think the thing about the real town is true?
I think so.
I'll accept that. I thought maybe it was the movie being a little bit devious. Promotional fast food song, done that. Family members all over this. Shays, Garris's, Chiodos, who made the Critters, the Chiodo brothers. 3 of them, Charlie, Stephen, and Edward. So this is very much a family-run business. Construction foreman lead person. Not sure how those are 2 different jobs, but nonetheless, they're listed separately. However, the people who do it are also related. So Mike and Perry Welsh. So they're kind of underlining that this is probably the same job by having relatives do each job. Honey wagon driver Alvin Hurd. Now, as we've previously established, the honey wagon is the shit truck. And so I always make a note of it when I see it in the credits. And I always like it when the honey wagon driver's name rhymes with turd, as it does here. Recordist Mark Frito Long. Now, I love it when there's a nickname that cannot be explained by the other 2 names. Like, they're it's sort of like John, usually it's like John Johnny Johnson or something like that. And you go, okay, well, these 2 names are John, and so that's why they call him Johnny. But Mark Frito Long...
He likes Fritos.
I mean, presumably, or maybe he looks like a Frito.
He ate 1 Frito and threw up.
And, of course, we've already mentioned it. Absolutely no critters were harmed in the making of this picture, which I believe adorns the credits of each of these movies.
Yeah.
And you're looking out for it either time, and there's no kind of expendables forgetting to do the things that we always do in these movies, as there is in, again, virtually every other sequel we do. It's like, you forgot to do the thing you always do. And they never do. They always have it.
Even though presumably it's not true. They're tearing these puppets apart, blowing them up.
Well, I thought that, but then critters is kind of slang for animals.
Yeah.
In our parlance. So it's true. It's both true and not true.
Right.
Because they didn't hurt any critters, but they might have hurt some krites. What would it have been different if the series was called Krites?
That I keep thinking about that too. Yeah, like, I mean, on a couple of different levels. The one you're speaking to now, but also, would that first movie have even made any money if it was called Krites instead of Critters?
I mean, Chud. You wouldn't think that would be successful.
I'm not even sure it was.
But then people like you go around questioning other people about the acronym, and suddenly it becomes a thing. So I don't know. I think Critters is, and like Gremlins and Critters, it's kind of like it's kind of like saying the name of the creature with old-timey speak.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it works. Because I feel like gold prospectors in westerns are always talking about critters, along with all their other ramblings.
Just yesterday, I ate myself a critter.
Yeah. I never seen a critter like that.
Found one up by the cactus.
Critter was covered in nuggets. Cinnamon.
All right,
and
that's
gravy.
it.
Yep.
Well then, Critters 2, man, it's a good time.
Yes, really high bar of a sequel.
I guess all that's left, ladies and gentlemen, is for you to tell us what you think about Critters 2. To do that, do all the things you know how to do, and do them where you must do them. What are they? Books, grams, threads, blue skis. What's that other one called?
X?
YouTube. Oh, yeah, X.
Not eggs. X.
X.
It's what's for Twitter.
Yes.
They're not slogan. That should be their slogan.
It's what passes for Twitter.
It's what passes for Twitter. Fuck, yes. I mean, to be fair, Twitter was pretty objectionable for a long time before it became.
Yeah, but it was like something we had accepted as it was.
Yeah. I mean, it was already synonymous with hate speech by the time it was turned into X, I think. In a way,
it was synonymous with it, but it wasn't like, this is what we're promoting now.
Well, I think, by changing the
It was like an unfortunate byproduct as opposed to, this is what we wanted.
But I think it was like changing the name to something that was wrong. A bad person changing the name to something that was wrong felt like it was being more honest about how Twitter had descended from grace over the years. Like, it needed that rebrand to show us that there is no hope.
Yeah.
It will not go back to being this place where people, try to creatively come up with, little, like, essays written in 40 characters, 140 characters. That's what it started out as. It was like basically like flash fiction that people were writing. And then somewhere along the line that was replaced with hate speech.
It's like Ted Bundy. Like, Ted Bundy, this just in, Ted Bundy has changed his name to I Kill Women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're on there. If you wanna contact us.
That's the state of the world as it is, and you can comment there if you like. Or send an email to everythingsequel@gmail.com. That's it. When you hear us next, we'll be talking about the non-subtitled Critters 3. Look forward to that. All right, for Tom Stewart of Lonesome Whistle Productions, Michael Jontz here. I'm from the How Dare You Awards. Say goodbye to everybody, Tom.
Kind of like Jimmy Olsen with breasts. The nerdiest line that has ever been uttered in a movie that does not have nerds in the title.
I like how sheepish she becomes after that. Like, oh yeah, I shouldn't have said that. It's a good time.
Yep.
All right, thanks for listening, everyone.
Wash it all down with a mousse shake. Pat your tummy and smack your lips. Suck for hours on your fingertips. At the Hungry Hipper.